have to wait here. Not telling you the name yet. You just have to wait for the
ducks. It's called the William Street Swap Shop. It's called the William Street Swap Shop.
Hello and welcome to the William Street Swap Shop. Today is a wonderful Wednesday. We will not be swapping items today, we will be swapping stories. So if you have any items, please wait and send them to us tomorrow, or you can send them to us now on our Gmail, but just don't call in about them because we are only talking stories. Today's show is going to be filled with a lot of great stories, and it might even scare you, or it might intrigue you, or it might inspire you, or it might just make you feel happy and have a smile on your face. And if we can do that for you today, that's all we hope to do. Joining me today is Boo Newell, a professional psychic medium, and Eddie Ray, a coworker and also a ghost enthusiast. Today we're going to be talking about spirits, the supernatural, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us on the Swap Shop. Thank you. And I hope we have some stories to swap, and let's just get right into it. Boo, you are a professional psychic medium. What does that entail?
Well, really, it means that, okay, when you're working with spirits, whether it's ghosts on the other side, ghosts in the ghost realm, or spirits on the other side, heaven, nirvana, whatever you want to call it, they're all the same. Some just get stuck in a different realm. You have to be able to get your vibrations up, your energetic vibrations up, because the other side is on a higher vibration. The ghost realm is on a higher vibration than the earth realm. The earth realm is kind of heavy, and it's really like radio waves, frequencies. If the frequencies match, you've got clear reception, audio, visual, the whole bit. And if you can't, then you're going to miss it. So me as a medium, when I'm doing working with my clients or doing the Decatur Ghost Tour, my ghost tour that I run, to work with the ghost, I've got to get my vibrations up, and they'll bring theirs down to a certain extent, and the frequencies match. And then we've got connection, you know.
So when did you discover that you were clairvoyant, or that that this was possible? Were you young, or is it something that you were born with?
Really, I think it was about 3 or 4.
Okay.
And that is not so unusual. Most children, they're so close and energetic to the other side when they're born and when they come in, that they come in with strong abilities. But as they get a little older, they start to assimilate into the verbal world, the humans, and so on, and they really don't need those abilities that much. So about 5, 6, they start to, let's say, misplace them. You don't ever lose them, but you misplace them.
Okay.
I always, for some reason, kept them and saw ghosts, spirits. Growing up, to be honest, I was petrified because I did not know what was going on. And I remember about 4 is when I really realized I was seeing things that other people weren't. When, I was raised in a 1920s house in Florida, okay? So I remember asking my older sister one day, who's that man outside the window, floating outside the window? And I was just a little girl. Now, it's a 2-story house. So obviously, no living person is floating outside the window. And she said, there's nobody there. And then there was the old lady that came to my bedside, and I would try to tell people about her. Boo, you should not be telling fibs. It is not nice to lie. And then there was the old aunt that called me peculiar. I didn't know if she was complimenting me or not. Oh, that's Faye Newell's peculiar child. But at 4, I remember I was taken to a funeral, the wake. My mom took me to the wake, and I was standing there by the casket, and you always had some relative or somebody there by the casket, kind of, I guess, on guard. I don't know, respect, whatever. So I remember I couldn't see into the casket, and I asked the living lady, I said, well, where's the dead lady? She said, and she looked at me like, I came along with the 60s. You had to be, there was a certain. And she was like, what do you mean? She said, well, because what I was seeing was the dead lady standing beside the living lady, but it was her ghost.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't know, and I said, well, there she is. Where's she? And she said, that is not good. She said, you don't say that. This is not, went on and on about this is not the appropriate place. I'm going to tell your mother. I'm like, so of course I started, I never could get answers, but I never could shut it down. And then later on I realized that ghosts, being clueless, confused, they're just trying to find help from somebody. Whether it's a child, an adult with abilities, whatever, who doesn't know what's going on, they just know they've got abilities. Hey, maybe they can help me. I don't know where I am. Maybe they can point me in the right direction. But the child doesn't know all that.
Right.
So the child freaks out.
So what age did you, or when did you realize you can help them?
I was probably in my 30s.
Okay.
I stayed petrified all the way up because I didn't understand, went to college. I had a mess with me. It was like, and I think I got to the point where, I started reading, when I came along in the 60s, we had Jean Dixon. Now, how could I, as a little girl, identify with Jean Dixon? Now you've got all the books, all the information coming out and so on. It's much more acceptable. But I think by the 30s, I started educating myself. I said, I've got to get a handle on this. It was driving me nuts. And with knowledge came empowerment, came understanding. And also, as I worked to strengthen my psychic abilities, it's like Edgar Cayce said, it's really not a case of developing your psychic abilities. It's really a case of getting in touch or developing your spiritual. So when I got to that point, I realized I had guides and angels. I'm not doing it by myself. I had my guardian angel, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so at that point, I started getting at ease with it.
I see.
So
Eddie, you have had experience with the paranormal.
I've seen some ghosts,
Okay.
some spooky stuff.
So we brought you on today.
Seen some spooky things flying around.
I'm with Eddie and Boo. I want to invite the viewers to call in at 413-961-4263 if you have any questions for Boo or Eddie, or if you'd like to share and swap a ghost story, or just have many, many questions, because I have a lot of questions and I can't wait to ask them all. So Eddie, have you had any experiences?
I have. I
that
grew
you
up
care to
in a.
share?
I guess the house that I grew up in was, haunted. Like quote unquote haunted, and we saw stuff in the house that I grew up in, and we would hear noises and voices, unearthly voices or whatever, and see things and things like that. And we even had. It got to the point where I don't know if it was. I don't want to say so bad, but I don't know what else to say. But it wasn't bad. It was just we would hear stuff so frequently and see stuff so frequently that we had a priest come out and not exorcise, but a priest come out and bless the house or do the mojo shenanigans and bless the house and to try to like quiet stuff down or whatnot because we saw stuff so much and heard stuff so much. And it would not scare us as much as it would like, okay, shut up because we got to go to bed, that kind of thing. And after the priest came and did some blessings and whatnot, it did quiet down for like a long time, honestly. So be it subconscious or conscious is what I tell people, that it did quiet down and shut up. And we did see a lot of like shadowy things and people sort of walking around and those kind of things. So hopefully it went away, I guess, somewhat. But yeah, the house, that's why I'm so interested in it, is because the house I grew up in, we saw stuff sort of constantly. And so after that, I sort of sought out places that were haunted to see if things were sort of real or not real, I guess, and went to haunted bridges and went to like other haunted houses and things like that to sort of see what was out there. Even though I hear you're not supposed to sort of go in search of it because
Right.
it may follow you home or
Right.
whatever. But
Well,
whatever.
Here at William Street, we in our swap shop, Matt and I, my co-host Matt, who you saw in the opening video, he's can't do Wednesdays, so it's me interviewing and sharing stories. But Matt and I have a rule in our swap shop: when people trade items, no haunted items. Is there a way? Can items be haunted? Besides just places? They can.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
they can.
Okay.
I heard that they always could be haunted.
You what now?
I heard that they could be haunted, and you don't want them. I mean, you know.
So if we see an item that someone sends us a picture of and it looks like it could be haunted, we completely say nope, do not bring it in the swap shop. We remove the JPEG. We're looking maybe if we could develop an app, or if there's an app that exists that this is haunted or not.
They can haunt a computer, by the
They
way.
can haunt computers.
I mean, seriously, ghosts can haunt a
Shit.
computer.
Right.
It happened to my niece's computer. I mean, she was
Oh God.
getting all this. She was little, and all this porn started coming up, and it was like, and what had happened is they had gotten the computer. They bought it used. Her dad bought it used,
Right.
and they had bought it from a guy whose family was selling it. The guy had committed suicide, so they bought it from the estate. Well, he was in his beloved computer because that's all he ever worked with in his depression and everything had just closed down world. The computer. So that's what he identified with, and he stuck with it.
Did she keep the computer, or is there a way you just
They threw it away.
threw it away?
So wait, the
They
porn.
threw it away. I think he drove his Hummer or something
So
over
they-
trying to destroy it.
They got and porn was coming up on it.
Porn was coming up.
I'm interested.
Yes. And this is with an 8-year-old girl who's
Well,
going to Catholic school.
Yeah.
And it's
Give
like
me
her
that
dad
computer.
said, what? Their mom's like, what is this?
That's a naughty
And then-
ghost.
Yeah, and then the computer would just go wacko. I mean, all this stuff would just,
Well, there's this white noise, right? They can send.
They did research on
yeah,
it, got
that's
the
true,
history of the
yeah.
computer, and sure enough,
He was a porn addict.
I guess so.
Well, me and that ghost probably would have been friends, and if he can get me free porn, if he was bringing in the free porn, then I would have been like, "All right, ghost, you can stay." And
We
the
should have looked
computer."
you up, Eddie. You'd have taken it off their hands.
Yep.
He drove his Hummer over it or something. It scared him so
Weird.
bad. They
Wow.
crushed it.
That's a great story, though. I never thought about ghosts bringing in free porn.
Right.
But
That's
why not?
amazing.
They can
They
can
have
haunt
that.
whatever they're attached to. If they can haunt a house, they can attach to a dresser,
Yeah,
a chiffon,
I had a
bed,
dresser.
whatever.
The bed, yeah. I had somebody. We had a bed growing up that was an old Civil War iron bed that they repainted gold, and we kept seeing stuff come out from under the bed. Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Right.
And so,
So-
probably somebody died. Who knows? Died in the bed. Whatever.
And this
Crazy.
might be a lot to ask, but do you know right off the bat when you walked into our building today? Did you sense anything? Is our studio haunted, or is there?
You mean, do I sense anything here? What now?
Right. Yeah. If anything currently, or when you came to.
When I came in, the building kind of has a feel to it,
Right.
and not heavy energy, but there's kind of a closed feel. It's almost like when I walk into a house and I've been called in about a ghost, and there's a different feel to the energy than a house or a building that doesn't have an entity or a ghost in it.
Okay.
It's like a heavier feel, it doesn't feel to me as bright as it normally would without the ghost in it,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
I think so.
There is something in this building. I mean, definitely. I would say you've got not just one, two, three, you've got a multitude from over the years.
Right.
And what I'm getting is one or two of them were very dissatisfied. This is where they got their validation in life of who they were, their whatever, maybe their ego, whatever. And so when they died, they remember this is where they had happy times, they had a crappy life. They're here, they're still wanting to live it. And it's interesting, if somebody's got a lot of depression going on around them, yeah, it could be biochemical or whatever, but it could also be an influence from an entity, attachment, a ghost. And I'm not one to say, oh, demons and all that,
Yeah.
Right.
but it does happen.
Right. And
like
most
attracts
ghosts,
like.
They're not always bad as they're depicted
No.
in
In fact,
films.
ghosts aren't bad.
They're friendly. They want to be friends, shake hands.
Yeah,
make
well,
a
they don't
deal.
want to be friends. You don't want to keep them as pets in the
Right.
house because they'll take the energy out of your electronics.
Okay.
They don't have their own energy.
Computer porn.
So, yeah, they'll take it from you. They'll take it from anything, you know.
One thing that really bothers me is when I come home and my laptop is not charged. That's
It'll
the
go
ghost
down,
took
you
my
mean? Just
laptop? Right. Yeah.
Well, see,
they
that's
screw
right
up
there.
electronics.
I
Yeah.
mean-
That's what was happening in our house growing up. Was that electronics would just explode, basically. Like for real, they would just
And see,
blow up,
that's-
and then we would VCRs, televisions, anything electronic would just malfunction brand new.
They were
all the time.
literally
It was nuts.
taking the energy,
Yeah,
you
they were
know,
blowing
playing
stuff
with
up.
it.
Well, in our chat, someone mentioned this could be Dottie, who was a fish on in our fish tank that passed away actually last week. Can spirits also be those of animals?
Can they, you mean,
Animals can animals.
yeah, they
haunt?
can. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, if the spirit dies and there's issues or... Now, this dog, was it a dog?
Sorry, a fish, Dottie.
A fish
Yes,
died.
it's
Okay,
news
all
to
right,
me.
okay. Let me just, yeah. So they're saying the fish is still here?
Could be, yeah. Someone's. I don't know if they're just being silly in the chat or the.
Well, I don't pick up a fish.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
Right.
But the thing is with most animals, unless they're kind of chained energetically to their person, all right, like a soldier, like in the cemetery at Decatur, there's a cavalryman, his horse got killed with him. He's still on the same mission with that ghost soldier. With most animals, they're just going to move on. They're not going to get stuck. Animals have a very a great understanding of the cycles of life, death,
All from
moving on, and so on. Do you see?
Yes.
So usually you're not going to find too many ghost animals.
Okay. Hello, we have our first caller on our wonderful Wednesday. We're swapping stories with Boo and Eddie. Welcome to the Swap Shop. Who's
Hello,
calling?
yes. This is Larry.
Larry, hi.
Yeah, I was wondering about Dottie, if she was sensing the Reiki of Dot in the building. I've been grieving personally
Okay.
in my own way, but I was wondering if she was able to sense that sort of Reiki.
Dottie, our fish. She
If
said
I was
she
able to what now?
since her Reiki, R-E-I-K-I.
Yeah, you mean check it.
Yeah.
Do Reiki on,
Right.
on what?
Yeah, I'm mainly concerned about haunting William Street. I don't want Dottie to overthrow William Street in any form or fashion.
That fish.
That fish, Dottie, that,
That
fish.
dead fish.
A lot of people are concerned about Dottie.
You mean that her spirit is still here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she could overthrow the electrical equipment.
No. She has no reason
Okay.
to. The thing is, with Dottie, she was
She had a
very
good life.
loving.
Yeah.
I do animal communication also. But anyway, the thing is,
What if she was murdered? Would there be like a murder Reiki or anything like that she could, harness?
I don't think anybody.
no, the fish, okay, there is okay, this is getting into, when spirits come into the animal forms, they're spirits just like us that are in spirits that come in the human form. It's all the same energy. When they come in the animal form, though, there's great wisdom, and they come in to help people, to help them learn lessons, to teach. In fact, the spirits that come in the domestic forms, like the cow, dog, cat, whatever, come in for humans. The wild animals tell me, the spirits that come in the wild animal forms come in to work with the global energy as a whole, not individual humans.
Is there a way that I could channel my Reiki to send her onwards in a positive direction? I'm worried she's floating in space somewhere, and I don't know if you're feeling that as well, Zach.
I don't
I wanna
really.
send her.
I would not channel it so much for her because she understands her life is going to be short. She chose on the other side a fish life, short life. So she understands,
This is
holds
so
no
beautiful.
animosity.
So she's
And
ready
she
to
was a
move
beautiful
on.
spirit, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She
I
was
can
gorgeous.
feel my
Beautiful
soul healing.
spirit. Oh my gosh, I love her energy. Very
thank
high
you so
spirit,
much.
truly. And because of the spirit being so high, she understands she has no sadness, nothing, no issues to hold her. I would, if I were you, though, channel like healing Reiki energy towards the building as a whole with some of the spirits that have gotten trapped here. I'm getting that something happened in the 60s in this building or around it. I don't know, maybe it was with the riots, the stuff going on. Somebody was killed.
Ted Turner was probably pantsless in William Street
Well,
at some point, so
Ted
that
Turner
might be that.
purchased this building in the
Yeah.
80s.
The what now?
Ted Turner
did.
purchased this in the 80s.
Oh.
But before that, it was a mattress factory, I believe, in the
Yeah,
1950s.
car
Yeah.
And see, I'm getting that there was some violence, a death or two around the area. It doesn't have to have been Turner Broadcasting.
Right. Right.
And even the thing is, a ghost does not have to have belonged there. They can be on the grounds like a settlement from the 1800s, but you build a house on top of it. You could be in the middle of a skirmish going on with the Native Americans and the settlers for the land with
Right.
the ghost.
True.
Wow.
So
So there could be a lot.
Well, thank you
There's
so
no more
much.
to-
I
Thank you,
feel
Larry.
knowing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
you're
much.
welcome.
Larry.
You're welcome, Larry.
If you
Bye-bye.
have any, if we invite any other callers to call in or email us at williams.swap@gmail.com. I'm here with Eddie and Boo. Boo, what has been one of your most disturbing or I guess
You
interesting?
mean adventures
Sure,
or
spiritual
encounters
yes.
or
Yeah.
okay?
And I'll ask you, Eddie, the same question. So maybe think about that up on deck.
One of them. Okay, I'd been called in. I was doing an investigation for a book, and I've been called into what they call the Gray House in the area. Very, very heavy energy. I mean, people would get nauseated when they got on the grounds around this old house. And I was using it for a book that I was writing, one of the stories. So I went into the crawl space to investigate. That's where my guide said, hey, go into the crawl space. So here I am in this crawl space. You can't hardly stand up among the leaves, litter and everything. Earth floor, and I sat down on a board, and there were three little girl ghosts there. I mean, sitting on a bench. The bench wasn't there, but there it was. And there they were. And I'm talking to them, and people had called this the mean house, the mean man. I'd already seen a ghost up in one of these two-story windows up there glaring down. So I went into the crawl space, and I'm sitting with my back to the wall behind me and working with the little ghost, and all of a sudden I heard a growl. I mean, like, just really a growl. And I knew this ghost was coming up behind me from the wall. He came through and was coming at me. And I wasn't worried because, as I said, I always go in with my guides and angels. The best protection to have if you're working with them is to go in with no fear and be in as loving an energetic mode as you can be. It's protection. So he stopped. He was trying to scare me. I knew it right then, with this big growl and
Get
jumping
out.
on my shoulder.
Just
Yeah,
growling at
yeah.
you.
And I was
Get
like,
out
and
of
I just
here.
kind of, okay, back off.
Right.
And kept working. And it was interesting, though. He had been a pedophile. Anyway, I won't go into the whole story. But what happened is I got the others to move on, and he would not move on. And this is where it comes down to you don't want to judge a ghost by its facade. It's so-called its action, so to speak, because usually behind the mean ghost is a confused spirit that's trying to get attention. He's confused. In some way, he's wanting to get help for the issue that is holding him in
Just
the
like
ghost
a
realm.
human that you encounter if someone's being upset. You don't
Exactly.
want to say
So
they're
if
all-
so if I'd gone, oh, get off of me, you
Yeah.
bad guy,
Yeah.
then, but otherwise I just kind of, hey, hold on. So it turned out, though, later on I had to go back, turned out he was waiting for a spirit, a ghost of his girlfriend that he had gotten into drugs and so on. She'd overdosed. He couldn't leave without her. She was scared of him because she didn't know she was dead. So here she is in the crawl space at another time and stay away from me. You're evil. Well, he was just trying to get her to cross with him. Finally, we resolved it and on they went. But that's a point. That's an example of where you really should not go in with any judgments, trying to anger, go in it from as high a place as you can go if you're going to be working with
Right.
them.
Do you ever fear that you going here do you ever fear it would come back with you? Something. the
No,
spirit would come
because
back?
I have my guides.
Okay. So that
And it's
protects you.
understood.
Okay.
It is understood. Although somebody on the tour swore they took one of the ghost children home, I don't believe that because I
Okay.
counted heads. All
ghosts were
25
still all
ghost children
there.
were there
Yeah.
for the next tour. But
Right.
it could happen. It can happen.
Right. So Eddie, what
Don't
about
take
you?
'em home.
What's
Don't
the
take 'em home.
story?
One of the good ones is that there was this haunted bridge in Noonan, Georgia. Stay out of Noonan, Georgia. Apparently, there's a bridge in Noonan that we heard that was haunted, and we went out there and I don't know, it was like 1 a.m, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and supposedly we didn't know this at this point. It was haunted, and we went out there, and spread out. There was like 6 of us that spread out across the bridge and just kind of stayed out there for a while. It was like maybe an hour. And what we noticed was that when we went out onto the bridge, that you kind of felt something weird. And I go to a lot of haunted places and honestly don't feel anything or don't notice anything. And I try to scare other people, honestly. But there I felt something sort of weird, like I'm sort of pushing or pulling, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, like emotionally, not like physically. And we were there for like an hour and standing there, and all of a sudden it sounded like if there was a CD playing or an iPod that of like sound effects like crickets and a river or whatnot. It sounded like all that was pressed pause on, and it went dead silent. And we laughed about it for a second. I was like, oh, that's scary. And it sounded like this is what it sounded like, 2 giant metal beams twisting and tearing, like beyond loud.
Like the
enough.
bridge is breaking.
Yes, it was in front of us, so maybe me to not where you are, but a little further than where you are, and 2 metal beams twisting and tearing, really loud, enough for me to jump. And I kind of stood there for a second, and the people I was with were, terrified because they don't do this kind of stuff. And I've never run from anything, honestly, like any kind of ghost stuff or anything. But that one time, I ran because I didn't know what was happening. If the bridge was, and it's a normal concrete bridge, and I didn't know if it was coming apart or what was happening. And I did run to the car. I did run that one time because it scared me enough to go, I don't know what's happening. And I ran to the car, and they all ran off the bridge as well. And I remember us standing at the bridge and looking back, and there was nothing there. And it looked like there was a figure that walked across the bridge where we were standing, like a shadowy figure. And we didn't know what made the bridge haunted, but we did research after it. We're bootleg, and did research after the fact, and we found out that there was a mother and a child that had a car accident on the bridge and died. But that's like a staple thing across America. There's always like a mother and child bridge story that are dying on a bridge. There's always that tale in like every city across America. They say it's true, and I can't remember the lady's name that died on the bridge, but supposedly if you say her name, she'll show up and that kind of thing. But I know what I heard, and it was loud enough to scare me, and it was right in front of me.
Right.
And I mean, it scared the shit out of me, and I don't ever get scared at these kind of things or on haunted houses or graveyards or anything. And I ran, and I was like, I can't believe I'm running from this thing. But it was so loud, and I had never been in a car accident at that point in my life. And then like a year later, I was in like a really bad car accident, and it was they had to use the death jaws
of
alive,
life or whatever
the
it is,
jaws
yeah.
of death is what I call it, and they had to pull the door off, and that is what it sounded like.
Wow.
It was that noise of metal tearing, and I was like, in the car as they're pulling it off, I was like, that's what I heard on that bridge.
So maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe there was something to
Yep.
the story.
Yep.
I mean, as far
So
as
maybe there was. I was like, that is what I heard. I heard a car accident in front of me, like right in front of me. It was the craziest thing I've ever heard. And I went back during the day and looked under the bridge and looked down the street to anything that would like maybe make an echo from miles away, and I didn't find anything, like
Wow.
anything remotely that would create that kind of sound effect.
So what
And
do you
it
say
was
to
mind-boggling.
what do both of you say to people who doubt the existence of ghosts, who think, oh,
that, what
it's-
now? What now's that?
What do you say to people who doubt the existence of ghosts or spirits? They say, no, none of that's true. That doesn't exist.
I say, that is your right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Believe-
believe in love.
You know.
I mean, love is not real. I mean, you know,
enough.
tell me how do you explain love? But I mean, I can't touch it or see it, but yet it's there.
You feel it.
You know, but I mean, but you know, I've just seen stuff I can't explain, and it maybe it's not ghosts, but something is there, like something I can't
Right.
explain. You know,
And
there's
for the
something
record,
going on.
I believe. In
Yeah.
ghosts. That's why in the swap
Well-
shop we do not allow haunted items. We
Yeah.
keep them out.
I wouldn't want a haunted item.
Right.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's like, I respect open-minded skeptics. I mean, I myself, until something is proven to me or I know that it's haunted, I'm not going to just go in and say, oh yeah, we got a haunted, because it could be a door creaking, it could be wind blowing through a crack, whatever. So I go in as an open-minded skeptic when I'm doing clearings, investigations, and so on. But I'm open-minded to the possibilities, and that's the difference between a closed-minded skeptic that's going to totally miss the whole picture,
I see.
miss the magic, the whole bit.
So
Do you see?
right on your tours, let's touch back on that. You do the Decatur Ghost Tour, which is a
Yeah.
city within the city limit, I guess, of Atlanta, just 5 miles outside of the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, well,
About-
we do it right in. Yeah, well, we're right in the city limits of Decatur. We go
Okay.
to haunted locations around the village, into the old Decatur Cemetery at night, different stops.
So have you ever had someone on one of your tours that you've proven when they went into the tour, oh, this isn't real, and then they came home, yes, this is real.
Yes,
I'm a big dummy.
we had a group of fraternity brothers on the tour one night, and we were walking down one of the streets, and I knew there was activity on it. So they were messing around, and one especially was giving the others a hard time. And so one of them took a picture of the rest of the group walking, and there on one of them's butt was an orb. Okay, like boom, right there. And an orb is like one of the three forms that a ghost can come in. Okay, so right there, he had somebody riding on him, taking his energy and so on.
From his butt.
Another guy,
It was on his butt.
oh, it was right on his ass. I mean, it was
Wow.
like insult to you, mister,
Whoa.
because they can't
But
hear
he-
you.
Right, he was the
Was
one
the-
that was
was
probably.
the
being-
person-
They can hear you. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't realize.
Was the guy attractive? Would you say that person was attractive? Was that one frat dude attractive?
He was one that was a loudmouth.
Well,
Maybe that was the ghost's way of saying.
Yeah, exactly. It was like kind of the insult. All right, look, and it was a big, bright orb
Right.
right there. I mean, bam. And so, of course, his brothers gave him a hard time. This kind of stuff. You know,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
all cracking up,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Um,
And how would you? People ask, can you get rid of ghosts and unwanted spirits? But you would say no because it keeps you in business, right? As a
oh, I
tour
was
guide.
kidding about that. I
Right.
would if okay. I asked my guides and angels about that because I was really concerned. Okay, truly, out just an aside, anybody can clear a ghost. If they go at it with the right intent, they're not afraid. They do it with whatever, firmness, whatever. But the thing is, people say, well, why don't you clear them? Why don't you clear the lady in the memory garden? The poor sad ghost. And I said, my guides have told me that these ghosts have volunteered to serve as educational, to educate people in the earthly realm to the different realms around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That may sound crazy, but they have agreed to stay. So I'm not to mess with them. And if one of them said, I'm ready to go, I'd clear them like that. There are
Okay.
plenty of ghosts around,
Right.
But
But you keep the ones. It's almost like it gets-
exactly. But it's almost like an educational, because they're. I don't care. On the tour, we say you don't have to believe in ghosts. It's historical, it's paranormal. There's something for everybody. It's fun. Relax.
Call from
But the thing is, they just don't want to be cleared sometimes.
Sure, they want to stay.
They want to stay.
It's like the person at your house party who doesn't
they want to
leave
stay
yet.
in the
It's like, all right,
cemetery.
I want you to go home.
They're having a good time,
Right.
I want to stay and haunt, scare people.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
We have a
You
caller.
what, Eddie?
I want to stay and scare people.
Eddie wants
That's
to
what I
scare
want to
people,
do. I
just
want to
haunt
scare
them.
people.
We have a caller. Welcome to the William Street Swap Shop. Come on in. You're on live with Zach, Eddie, and Boo.
Hey, how's it going?
It's
This
going
is
well.
Ludwig.
Sorry? Ludwig?
This is Ludwig.
Okay, Ludwig.
I have a question for your
Are you a ghost?
psychic.
Or are you real?
I am not a ghost.
Okay, thank you. We should probably
I
start asking
actually
that
have a
when
question
people call
about
in.
ghosts.
Are you okay? So you're not a ghost. And your question is? I'm sorry.
I actually work in a steel mill, and throughout the years, they've had a lot of fatalities in that kind of industry. But I have a problem. Like every time I get my supervisor to put me on a job, I tend to drift off, and I wonder if there's any way. Maybe I'm being channeled by a previous spirit. Because when I come back, he tells me it takes way too long, but I can't recall the time that
So
it takes.
you go to do work and you come back and he said it's taken hours, but you only feel like it's taken 20 minutes.
Yeah, time is lost. It's like I'm staring off into the walls and stuff. I wonder if maybe they're saving me from making hazardous mistakes, possibly, or...
Mm-hmm. And what's probably going on is you're very tuned in, very sensitive, probably a little more so than most people, and you're picking up the energy, and it's literally affecting yours. And it doesn't mean you're being haunted so much as the energy is affecting you and causing you to be ungrounded. You're responding to it. Me as a medium, that's why I don't on the tour, I wouldn't go into mediumship mode. Every now and then I'll have somebody's grandmother show up and I say, I can't do it. I'm doing a tour. I've got to think of the safety of the patrons with traffic and the dialogue. And if I were to let this energy affect me, it really makes me ungrounded because it's raising your vibrations and taking you partly out of your body. So if I were you, for your safety, I would literally, you might want to say a prayer of protection before you go in. I'm not sensing anything evil around you. I'm really getting more because of your sensitivity, your abilities. You have some spirits that are coming to you asking for help, truly. And they don't mean you any harm, but it is not to your good. You need to stay very grounded in the job. And I would work on being grounded. Just do some research on clap your hands. You start to feel yourself kind of phasing out. Clap your hands, squeeze them, do something physical to your body, whatever, to keep you in it. Otherwise, you're being drawn out by the energy that is around you that you're attracting.
Oh, okay. So should I follow what they do or just go on my own will? I mean, it seems like they stray me away from certain things that may be hazardous, though. So, I want to stay away from all of that.
So other people have passed away at the steel mill. You think these might be
Like what
spirit-
now, Jack?
So Ludwig is saying other people have passed away at the steel mill. Ludwig, are you saying that these might be the spirits of the people who've passed away, and
Oh,
they're
it
trying to
is.
keep him away.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. You mean trying to keep you safe and everything. And
I would hope so, because I mean, otherwise it leads me into a trap. So.
right.
I haven't been hurt yet, but
But the thing is, it's interesting because the very act of them keeping you safe, which is helping you, is also because you're so sensitive to the energy, is causing you to be ungrounded, which is causing you to be more out of your body, which is causing them to have to work harder to keep you safe. And it's like a cycle going on here. If I were you, you may not be able to see them. I would thank them. I would wish them well. I would try to have them move on into the light. Tell them, I love you. I don't need you now. They are keeping you safe, but you can keep yourself safe if you will work on staying more in your body instead of phasing out. You're not aware you're doing it. It's like trance channeling. You're not really aware you're doing it, but you are touching on the fringes of being a trance channeler. There are different types of
okay.
channeling. I'm not a trance channeler. I'm present when I'm doing my readings. I'm partly in my body enough, but I can go back and forth with my client. I do lose a sense of time, but a trance channeler, which is where you're kind of touching, literally will go out of their body. They're not quite in it enough. Does that make sense? And so you need to
yeah, that
be
does
very
make
aware of the
sense.
energies around you and how they're affecting you. There's a lot of sadness also. It's a lot of sadness. I don't even want to go into what I'm picking up around you. But if I were you, I would be trying to ground, get something happy. Laughter is very good for grounding. Anything to bring you back in, because also these energies are kind of affecting you with their sadness, their depression, and so on.
Do we have a joke? Maybe
And I
we
won't
could-
go into any more of what because I'm not going to go into reading mode. That's
Right.
not
No, it's
ethical
okay.
for him.
Sure.
But
If we have, maybe we can make him
My
stay a little
happiness
brighter.
is
We
I
can tell
love
you a joke.
Swap
Ludwig.
Shop. I love Swap Shop, so
Okay.
I'm happy.
Do
Well-
you watch our programming at night? Do you watch Adult Swim at night?
Absolutely. I don't even change the channel.
Maybe you're just staying up too late watching our programming. Like our stuff's on
That
real
could
late at
be.
night.
Right.
Get some sleep. Turn our programs off at 11 p.m. and go ahead and go to bed.
Well, Ludwig, you're much stronger than a twig, and you're a great young man, and we thank you for calling in. And I want to tell you a joke. Eddie, do you have a joke you could tell him?
God, I wish I did have a
Something
joke.
funny?
I can tell you a joke if you want a joke.
Yeah, tell a quick joke for us real quick, and it'll make the room more. We'll all laugh, and maybe it'll make your day. a
Kinda
little
lighten it
brighter.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, it's why did the cow get a promotion?
Oh my gosh.
Because it wanted to work at Chick-fil-A. Because I
No,
see them on the
because it's
billboards.
outstanding in its
Point.
field.
It had outstanding deals.
It was outstanding in its field.
Oh,
That's
a
a
great
good
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ludwig, that's
Okay, guys,
that brought
thank
a
you.
smile to
Alright,
the table.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
That's a good joke. I like
That's pretty
jokes.
good,
It
that's
keeps
pretty
things
good.
bright and light.
Yes.
So what are signs that something is haunted that someone could look for in their home if they don't have access to someone like you, Boo, who can automatically tell you, I sense spirit, items? Is it like how? Unfortunately, I think a lot of people, or maybe fortunately, a lot of people only know how things are haunted because of movies or TV shows.
Right.
So an item moving or hearing
Walls,
see,
noise
that-
at
walls
night,
bleeding.
Walls bleeding.
And see, that's for entertainment.
Right. When I'm at home watching Prime and I hear noise on my in my house, the creaking,
Right.
is that just a house
You
settling?
just know there's something lurking.
Right. Or is that something more that people should be worried of?
And the thing is, well, I don't watch horror movies myself. I have nothing against them, but it really brings people's energy down.
Call from
I can tell when a client comes, I can tell if they watch horror movies or not by their energy that's around them.
I see.
Some people can handle them, some people can't. And it's great entertainment. I mean, okay. But the thing is, as far as clearing a ghost, most people, the number one thing that they need to remember when they're working with something is to not be scared. But then the Hollywood and books and everything kind of engender or encourage that. No.
Right.
The thing is, if you're scared, you're going to give the ghost energy. They don't have their own energy. That's why they like to scare people. It's
like-
not being mean.
It's like a ghost that's always asking.
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
"All
but
right,
a
your
go-
laptop
a
charger.
human-
Hey, can I?
Same
Yeah,
thing
they
for
go into
me,
fight or
that's
flight. Out
Right.
goes the energy. Boom, and that goes grabs it.
That's
Or
why I
they-
like
They
to
do it
scare
for
people.
entertainment too, you know.
We
It gives
have
me
a-
energy. I like to scare people for the same reason.
We have another caller on the line. Hello, you're on live. Are you not a ghost?
I am actually not presently. At
Okay.
least.
What's your? Could you say your name and then say I am not. My name is blank and I am not a ghost.
I am Decree,
Decree.
and I am not a ghost.
Okay, Decree is one of our regular callers on our show. Decree, welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm actually good. I didn't catch the first part of the show. I just I actually mailed the glass head today, so
Okay.
I was just kind of doing things, and I didn't catch the show. And I hopped in, and actually, I'm sorry, the lady next to you, the medium, you're awesome. I like listening to you, and actually,
Thank you.
I got off, and I actually have a story for you about kind of us getting rid of a ghost in a kind of sense, and I actually wanted to share it with you a little bit.
I
Let's
would
hear it.
love for you
I'd
to.
love hear
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Of course. So we actually used to live in Montpelier, Idaho a little bit. We'd go there during the weekends. We also lived in Nevada. We'd travel around a lot, but we'd go there every weekend. And my dad was fixing up this 3-story building, and we're going to call it Just Stuff. It was going to be a dollar store underneath, and then we're going to live above it. Well, this place, I mean, it's an old building, and it used to be like a dojo. It used to be so many different things, and I think back in the day, it used to also be a brothel, which brought most of what the energy I think was there. We would go there every weekend, and there was we didn't have glass in the windows, but we had plastic covering to keep it warm because, Idaho gets cold too, and we'd go there during the winter and summer, but we'd go there, and there was a cut in the plastic, and it was the same cut each time, and we have a whole stack of the plastic, whole stack of it, and it would just do crazy things, move different things. We'd come back, and just things wouldn't be there. My dad would take pictures of places and things, as Progressive goes on, because he was trying to fix up the building, and he put it on a burst mode one day, and out of the 5 pictures that were there, only one picture had this white apparition that kind of went through it. It wasn't like a figure. It was kind of like a smoky kind of cloud, and it's not something like smoke or dust that can clear that instantly, like in a flash moment. Our dog wouldn't go up the second floor stairs. He would go up to the 3rd floor, and he'd go to the 1st floor, but he would never go to the 2nd floor. He was so afraid of it. But one thing that made me sure about it was these 2 incidences. Is one time I'm sitting there, and my dad's just screaming at the top of his lungs, and I go upstairs to find out what's going on, and he's like, "Listen here, mother," blah, blah. My dad used to cuss a lot.
So did
Yeah.
mine.
I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you messing with my stuff. I'm tired of you ripping my plastic. I'm tired of this. This is my building. I bought it. Okay? If you're not going to do your part, then get the heck out. If you are, then next time I come, this plastic better not be ripped, and there should be no garbage in this
It's okay.
in this area at all. He just wanted the whole room clean because it was old, and we were just trying to get it all cleaned out. Well, the next time we went, there was no rip in the plastic, and all the garbage was gone. But the dumpster downstairs was completely empty, and they only empty the dumpster only comes once a week, and that's right after we leave on Sunday. And it was gone.
Wow.
And later on, this is the second one. I'm sitting there eating lunch, and I'm by myself, and there's noises and everything surrounding me. And if I don't hear voices in my head, I don't hear these things, but I hear something in my ear go, "Hey, baby, how you doing?"
Yes.
I'm like, what? And
Wow.
no, seriously. And then I'm looking around, and my dad's upstairs drilling things. We have half the store open. I mean, there's commotion and noise going on. There's nothing, and then I hear a gotcha. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Somebody
And
was
it was
still running
right
a
in my ear. It
business.
was it was crazy. It is. It's weird. And I can't make it up. And I've never hallucinated. I've never really done anything I was a little kid at the time. I know what I heard, and I felt this chill, and I felt this discomfort. Everything around me was just so offsetting. And I've spent times in cemeteries, and I've seen things, and I've checked things out. I've never done a Ouija board, but I've been to places, and I've been open to these things, and I've seen it, and I felt so many different things. But that was my first encounter with it all, and it was the most crazy thing that ever happened. But after that, we never saw and dealt with it. I think what happened was the building kind of just collapsed on itself. And I think that because we had a whole bunch of things going on, and it just kind of just started collapsing on itself. And I think it was just the weight of everything, and
So
just
the
finally gave
spirit
into the
is
building.
trapped.
Is what I think.
And that really didn't affect the ghosts, though, because they're in their own realm, a dimension, and to them, literally, the walls are still there, the beds are still there, activity's still going on. Mabel's getting beat by Jacob, the bastard. I mean, the bad guy, whatever.
Jacob,
It
do
still
not beat
goes on a
Mabel.
lot of times. The walls, physical doesn't count because they're in another dimension and realm anyway. So,
Right.
I mean,
I don't know, and it was just my opinion.
Wow. Well, Decree, we thank you for the call. We're actually running out of time. We have
No,
to wrap
that's
up real
fine.
quick.
Yeah.
But we thank you very much for calling
Thank
in. That was a great
you.
story.
Thank you for that sexy
swapping.
story.
Thank you for swapping with us.
Of course. You guys have a great day. Thanks, guys.
You do the
Thank
same.
all
Thank
right,
you.
you too. Thanks.
We're at the end of the show, and I wish we had 2 more hours to discuss. It went by quick. I just want to say thank you, Eddie, for joining us, and Boo, thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach,
I put
for having
together
me.
a poem real quick for your business. Maybe we could promote it this way. If not, I understand. Soaring through the sky, a spirit travels invisible to your eye. Please don't haunt my small business. This spirit only wants a witness. How will you rid this phantom? Contact the president on Air Force One? No. When you need to solve this clue, you better call Boo.
Brava.
So
Zach,
we can
thank
maybe
you.
record that. I'll record it on camera and we'll make it a
Did you
commercial
write
for you.
that?
I did, yes.
That was beautiful. That
Oh
was
Thank
my
beautiful.
gosh, that truly was.
Thank you.
That
So maybe
was
we'll make
beautiful.
that,
Thank you.
I'll just want to let everyone know who's watching. Check out Boo, Decatur Ghost Tours.
Decatur Ghost Tour.
And we'll
Yep,
link to our Facebook page
DecaturGhostTour.com.
if you're ever traveling through Atlanta or you live in the Atlanta area and you want to check out some ghosts. It sounds like it will be
History. I mean,
a very
it's,
educational,
so-
informative time, and we just hope no orbs attack you from
apparitions,
behind.
ectomist,
Grab that
whatever.
ass. I want an
Right.
orb to grab my ass. But, that's another story.
Well, that would be Marilyn Monroe on yours. Eddie,
That's right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, and stick around at 2 p.m. Crosswords is coming up, and we will be back tomorrow with Matt swapping your items. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Awesome.